Hey. Hey guys, how you doing? Alright, let's do this thing. There we go. Alright, I have to pull up, I'm sorry guys, I forgot one thing. Gotta pull up the Twitch chat, and we'll get busy. Alright, come on. Come on, pop out. Sometimes it takes a second. Sorry about this, guys. There we go. Come on, no lag on me now. X out of that. That should not be so laggy now. Sometimes it just lags. Alright. Oops, sorry guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, just 1 second. I have to AFK just for a second. Okay, dokie, we're good now. We're back in the fray. We'll do one game and then we'll get busy. Come on, okay. We'll try count to 5. If nothing, we'll get off. 1, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We'll try it one more time. Let's see. There's nobody on. We'll give it 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there's nobody on. We'll get into our lending system. Alright. Alright. Sometimes allergies. Okay. D4, knight f6, knight f3, e6, bishop f4. The London system. b6, a4, and bishop b7, h6, which is dubious. What we should play. Hold on. It's kind of you really don't have to worry about that. There's no real threat of here, because even if he plays, let's say we play bishop to d3, right? And then he plays knight here. You have that. And if he plays there, you just retreat back. And if he plays there, and then you take. And then look at this provoked weakness that he acquired. So you shouldn't really worry about pushing at this moment, because you can always play bishop to g5, c5. They're saying that best would have been bishop d6, trying to trade off, because whenever we can't go back, remember what happens in the prior game, we had to take the bishop on d6. Remember that? And then we would take back, and we'd be winning, and he'd kind of have equal position. If I play c5, c3, pawn takes, which is dubious. This actually comes from a game. e4, e5, knight takes, castle, castle, knight to c6, queen e2, rook c8, knight bd2, and d6. They're trying to get in c5. The whole goal for black is c5. I mean, not c5, e5. A, B, D, and if there was this, then you could always just retreat back. So if e5 was played, there's not really much to worry about. See, now this kind of is a little funny of a move, because now if c5 is played, you could do it because there's 2 versus 2. So it's possible now. So bishop g3, which is interesting, it gets out of e5. Rook f d8. Just developing. Now everything's symmetrical, not symmetrical, but very similar, and white's actually doing good here. So g6, remember to go bishop to f8, and then g6, remember, I mean g7, bishop f8, g7, a3, knight b8, a4. Now, if he plays here, if he was to play here, we could just lock it up now. That's a potential idea. So c takes d, knight bd2, bd7. This is kind of dubious. Knight to f1 is actually more natural of a move sequence. So queen b8, c7, c3, knight c3, queen a8, and then bishop to f4. The idea is potentially to get a pin here on the bishop and then play e5. Bishop g, and king comes up to guard the knight, because if, let's just say he plays something like this, we'll just throw this in, and then he tries to retreat back, you lose a piece. And if he tries to retreat over here, he loses a piece. Oops. I have to make sure that I b5 is played. Knight e5, knight e, bishop takes, and that'd be losing. So we got to be very careful. Dubious. So that's why he plays queen. That's why he played king g to come here, and then now our idea is to play queen to f4 with a potential double attack there after that. It's kind of is interesting. g8. Knight d2, h, and then we're just bringing the knights in. And that's a mistake. That allows for knight g5, which now there's a pin and this pawn's pinned. There's really no good way to defend it, unless you bring a rook over, and if you do that, you're losing. So he has to play to block. See, what's happening is there's a double threat happening right here. It attacks the knight, and attacks the knight, it pins the king. So the knight has to actually move here, and then when you do that, e5 is played, and then c takes e, and knight g8, and we have a check here. King f8, bishop takes, knight, pawn takes, d, and h, and there's a devastating attack that's coming down the pike here. So they're saying if he plays, this is even worse. This is like getting just smashed. So you got to be careful when you set up. That was from a game. Those were from games. So dubious, exclam, because remember this only benefits white. Knight c6, a3, bishop e7, knight c3, d5 dubious. Remember we're trying to get e5 in. We don't want to lock down d5. This actually helps white. And see, now white has free development to bring his pieces in. Castles, castles, rook c8, and queen to e2, which it's an interesting connecting the rooks. And the idea is to try to dominate the only open file, which would be the c file. a5, which is a really good move because the knight now wants to plug up the file. Knight e5, which is dubious. Better would have been rook to c1. This kind of tickles the c file a little bit. You don't kind of want to play dubious moves. You don't have time to make errors. So that's an idea. There's also rook ac1 with the idea of doubling again. Takes, knight c5. Then you retreat the bishop back, and with the queen coming in, this is an equal position. See, if you kind of just mess around with moves too much, the advantage that you once had will end up slipping away from you, and it'll end up in equal position, and that's what black wants. So you want to keep your half pawn advantage. So you don't want to start just making random moves. Make sure your moves have ideas. Rook e1, e5, bishop takes, knight c4, g3 to, because we don't want to trade off our bishop. We like our dark squared bishop. It has dominating power. So knight d6, blunder. You should play a6 here and kind of get some get some space on the queen side. b5. Now the knight's fortified a4 to kind of try to undermine and maybe get a rook in on a7. You never know. That's a potential idea. b4 to shut it down. Knight d1, queen b6, b3, and knight a5, and then queen b2 with some interesting play, because we do have the ability for potentially trading off and then having a queen that dominates the open file. So queen, knight d6, rook ac1. Now our rooks are finally coming in to dominate the c file. Queen d7, rook c2, knight c2, rook e to c1. Exclam. That move, I like that move. And then black has a really nice counter to that though. a6. Black's trying to neutralize the light square's superiority on the queen side by putting the pawns on the light squares. And so that's kind of why that idea is playable. b5 and then b3 exclam. This is a really I really like the flow of this move because but he plays a really good move because he's retreating back. See, you have to be careful. I believe if he takes here, rook c1, and you're thinking, wait a second, can't the rook take? Yeah, but don't forget, remember the bishop that we kept on the board? Now there's a rook and bishop, and if this rook takes here, we take here, and there's a fork of the queen and bishop, so the bishop's going to fall. So the queen can't take. I mean, the rook can't take at this moment. That's why bishop d6, so that if you did play actually it clogs up. Sorry, it clogs this diagonal up right here. So that's why it gets an exclam. Knight, rook c5 is also a really good move because this is an anchor point, and now we can reinforce it with b4, and then even if it gets exchanged off, we can take back and have a protected pass pawn, and this benefits white in that scenario. Black's gonna always have to worry about this pawn, and let's just say that the light square bishop for white is not, for black is not that appealing. Like if this got traded off for that, let's say our pawn was here and came there, this bishop is not very nice to look at compared to this. Let's give an example. We'll just say I'm just going to play a couple moves really quick. And we'll just say he retreats back. Now do you see the difference in this bishop versus this? This bishop versus this bishop. Look at all the pawns are on light squares. This actually didn't happen. I just wanted to give you guys an example. Hold on, let me see. What did I want to see here? Hold on. Get rid of this. So when the knight went there, this was actually played, but that's a mistake. So this is the proper move. So bishop takes exclam, because you're getting rid of his most powerful piece, which is his knight. And then you take back and you take there, and you have a protected pass pawn. You have the position clogged up. White's light square bishop is very yucky looking, and with bishop to d6, now you're attacking the rook, and potentially b4 is going to happen, and the light square bishop is like boxed in. It's like entombed in its own position. And if it wants to come out, it's going to have to at least give up a pawn or something just to get some scope. And so you'll actually be okay in that line. Rook c5, c6, bishop takes, queen takes, and this isn't as strong as if this knight would have been gone. This would have been a little bit stronger. Like they're saying if bishop had taken before the check, before this, the bishop had just taken, and the queen takes. Now we take, and we have a we're up a whole pawn in this line, and we'll hold our pawn advantage, and we'll most likely go on to win, because the bishop's going to have to flee out of this territory, and we then can now start going after his pawns and stuff. So you got to be real careful with let's got to exit out of this. There we go. This is actually what happened. So we played that. A4 was played. We takes, queen takes, and we don't get an extra pawn in that line because we're not able to take this. King f2, king g6, f3. There is a better move, which is knight to c3 exclam, takes, and then we take here because of this pin. And this is kind of one of our best chances. We get our pawn back, and we also have some attack. We can reinstitute our knight to f4, and our rook is very active. So I think in this line it would be better. But f3 is okay as well. But king f3. But remember, you don't want to get this knight offside. You want to keep it in the fray. Rook b8, knight rook c7, and this is actually a game between. I forgot to tell you. I apologize. This is a game between E. Perkin versus Karpov. Black is Karpov, and so it ended up a draw. And what happened here is White was happy with the draw because of his knight kind of was now offside a little bit. This move here would have given White some winning chances, but when he got to this point, back and forth, there's no way, there's not enough time to activate this knight. There's no more pin here, so, and that's the draw. And then in summary, what they're saying is potentially if you can transpose from the Queen's Indian to a potential d5, which would maybe end up a type of Slav position. You can actually transpose from here. You have to know when to do it, but it benefits Black if you can, in this setup, if you can transpose the position into the Slav. So just take that into consideration if somebody plays the London on you and something like this. Just look to try to transpose it into the Slav. Take it from the Queen's Indian and go to the Slav. Okay. We will play one. We'll see if there's a game that we can play. If not, so we'll count 5. Alright. Let's give it a go. Come on. Okay, the advanced variation. Let's hunker down here. Okay. Let's go develop his knight there. Oh, he plays bishop. Okay. There we go. He trades off his best bishop, so that wasn't the wisest of decisions. I want to see if I can't get this bishop off the board. I'm going to try to deprive the knight of space here. And I want to castle kingside. Maybe I'll even be able to win a rook. You never know. Whoa. Gotta be careful here. I gotta make sure every calculation works. Okay. This castling, because I always have the back rank sitch. I just want to get everything safety. I don't want to fall for any tricks. One of my ideas now is queen to e2. Gotta stay focused on task. Let's see, what could he play? He might try g3. He may go a4. Knight f3 isn't the best move because g4 h6 stops everything there. So he's kind of in a tangled web here. see here. Okay, I have to make sure. I have queen to e2, queen d3. I like queen d3 actually. That stays in contact with my protection there. Also, if he goes rook to d1, I can always go rook c2. That, and if he tries to move his knight, I get a back rank mate. So he's probably gonna have to decide if he's gonna go g3 or not. What is he gonna play here? What is he gonna play? Okay. He might go into Nakamura zone with a blitz. Or he might just let his time run. Either way, we have our plan. We're thinking about either playing our queen here or there. So queen here or here is our plan. If rook slides over, so here or here, these 2 points, and then our rook's gonna slide here, and if he moves his knight, then we have back rank mate either one of these 2 points. So we have our plan. Let's see if he actually plays the game. He might just let his time run. Sometimes players do that. Rather than resigning, they'll just let their time run. You know, that's one thing that's kind of immature about some players. They just won't resign or play on. We do that because we're champions. We have to remember that. Don't be afraid to lose. It's only a loss if you don't learn from it, and then hop right back in there. But I find that the London system is a really interesting opening for sure, and so I'm trying to improve in also the French. Well, I'll have to. I think I have a French book. We'll have to work on maybe this coming week. We might just take a slight break off the London, and I'll set up. We might do some French. I'll see if I have my book on the French opening. Okay, it's just gonna let his time run. Trying to get. I want to, just start doing longer games so I can start training my brain. And I think you guys also should do longer games because shorter games are great and everything, but you get more instinct. You don't actually have the time to calculate and improve your thought pattern. So just, I'm not telling you what to do, but if you want to improve, you need to do a little bit longer games. show you our idea. The idea is this: if we, and let's say he, say plays here. Well, if he plays here, I'd play there, and if he comes over here, I'd play here. Then if he moves, we have a checkmate. Let's see what white's best move would have been. So we did find white's best move. Okay, so that's the best move. Okay, so how's everybody doing? So let's get into some puzzles now. That was a fun game. So let's work on some puzzles. We had our plan, we worked our plan, and we ended up winning. Sorry you guys had to wait through all that. It's sometimes sad when players let their time run, but they don't want to resign, and so it makes them feel better to not resign. So it's all, you know what, that's one thing you have to get over, is the fear of learning, and they feel like they fail if they resign. So if it makes the player feel better, I'll wait and let the time run, because chess is about knowledge of the mind, not making somebody else feel bad. But what my teacher told me, you're not helping the other person out by, if they play an inferior move, you're not helping them out by letting them win. So you need to win, and then they'll take their game back, and then they'll learn from it and get better. That's the only way that works. Okay, let's see here. Alrighty then. Trying to see if we have any. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing. So and maybe they'll tune on and watch the broadcast, and they'll learn, so they'll get better. You never know. They might say, who's that? Business law, and then they'll log on and watch, and then they'll come in, and we'll get to do puzzles with them, and everybody will get better. Let's see here. I wanna play a check on E3, but I don't know if we accomplish anything with that. Allergies are a pain in the drain. We're trying to go for a mate, so I'm trying to find a way how I can attack the bishop. Boy, this is it. Maybe it's not that. Maybe we have to actually attack the bishop now. Maybe it's bishop d3. So if we go bishop d3, if he plays c5, we then have bishop to e5. That's a double attack on the bishop right through to the rook. So we'd be up a whole exchange. So I'm gonna propose a line. If you guys have lines you want to go over, if you guys have any games like you played on Allied Chess, chess.com, you know, if you have games that you put in, put them in the chat. We'll go over them and we'll talk about them and we'll learn and improve. So feel free to put your games in if you want to kind of analyze them a little bit with us as a group. Okay, there we go. So rook d3. That's my idea. Rook d3, and then if he goes c5, we have bishop e5, and I think we win a piece in that line. I really don't see anything better that he can do. Well, he might move his bishop here. So if I'm gonna do another line. I'm gonna see if we play rook d4, rook d4, or sorry, rook d not d4, d3. He may play bishop e5. Bishop e5 could be playable here. Oh, well, there's a book called Tactics from Scratch. If you're wanting to learn tactics, that's a really good informative book, and he places like puzzles, and he shows you how it is. He sets it up and he talks about it as he goes. And he does like forks, pins, skewers. And then let me see, Jeremy Silman's Endgame book. He has a whole line of good books as well. If you kind of just want to do a little casual. I guess you could just take. Yeah, I guess you're right. If you play here, you could just take. Yeah, but that's yeah. There's okay. Let's see if I can pull up, if I can get a download here. And then I'm thinking there's some really other good books. There's Josh Waiskins has one with I forgot the name of it. It's like Attacking Chess with Josh Waiskins. His is really good as well. Let's see, I gotta pull up the thing here. Okay, copy. There we go. Let's put one in. And we'll get this put into the thing here. Let's see. Alrighty, sweet. Okay. Oops, we gotta turn off the engine because we only use the engine unless we're kind of puzzled. No, I haven't. Let me see. Yeah, that's a good book. I'm trying to see. There's a lot of different books. Then there's, I know this sounds it sounds like a book that really, there's something called Tactics for Kids and Strategy for Kids. Those are also really really good ones. don't worry that it says kids. It shows, like with the tactics, it shows 50 of the most common tactical patterns, and it's really helped me with like clearance, sacrifices, pins, skewers, forks, and all the different types of stuff. Just because they put kids on it doesn't mean that it doesn't have some good information on it. Okay, we'll go over this game. And then the one I really like is it's also How to Beat Your Dad in Chess. That's a really good one as well. There's a whole series line with that gentleman who did it. Let's see. Okay, E64. Okay, nice. So are you? Which color are you? White or black? Probably white. Let me check 1 second. I'll get to see who either won or drew. Then I could tell on that. Okay, so you were black. Oh, you were white. Gotcha. Okay, so this is the French. Okay, so you have to be careful because we do study the French, and also there's a really good teacher on YouTube. His name is Grandmaster Simon Williams, or Ginger GM. He has some really good lessons on his YouTube account. So and then if you kind of want to watch some good podcasts as well, there's St. Louis Chess Club. If you just want to, pop on, maybe just watch 10, 15 minutes. If you're more visual, those are good sites to go to. And the nice thing about it is, I know it's free. It's free for everybody to learn too. So I appreciate that. So there's a lot of information out there. I like watching on YouTube. It really helps me. I'm more a visual learner. And that's kind of why I use this board, and I do like 2D boards. But if you're going to do over the board, you like Yazzer talked about, that you should do 50% over the board study and like 50% on the screen. But with kids coming up, they can actually take 100% of the screen and actually apply it to the board. It's incredible, those Tiger kids. Okay, yeah, so this is the Winnier attack right here. Right here. The proper line for white to play is actually e5. If he's gonna play the Winnier, e5, he's gonna go c5, a3, bishop takes a3, b takes c3. Sorry, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, and then it can transpose into a whole bunch of different move sequences. Like Lennerman had one that he played here, and Fabi played not there. Sorry, he played queen to g4, king went to f8, and then h4. Something kind of similar to this line. Then Letterman played here, and there was a whole line. It's been a while since I've looked at the game, but it's something similar to this. And the idea was to go after here and that pawn. So the h4 pawn push. Where is that? Here threw Lennerman off for a while, because it's actually the 7th or the 8th move down in the line category. If you go to chess base on the database, it's actually like the 8th move down. Why not queen takes c3? You could play queen takes c3, but the problem is, let me see here. I guess I could. Let's see, queen c3. So maybe I did miss that. Maybe there's I think what did he? I'm trying to remember. It's been like a week or two before I seen that game, because it was actually on the U.S. Chess Championship. Fabi won a beautiful game against Lenderman. There was a reason. Maurice Ashley talked about that. Drat. I don't remember. Let's see what actually the computer says to play. Okay, so bishop there, but I don't think he played. I don't think he played bishop there. No, oh, hold on. There has to be some, okay, you do lose. So Fabi must have played that there then first. Okay, gotcha. Then he played. Lenderman played there. Yeah, now I gotcha. This, sorry, yeah, this is the line here. It's starting to come back to me now. And then h4. There was a couple lines that if pawn takes here, pawn takes, and then potentially queen to like c b6 would be playable, and you're attacking this twice. But this kind of is like the 8th move down. It's not even in the Grandmaster category. It's like the Master, International Master. So I just wanted to show you that you have to, lines are, I'm surprised he didn't play the gentleman that you faced didn't play the Winnier right. He should have actually taken, he could have taken here, I believe. Let me see. Trying to see, because I think he plays c5 if I'm not mistaken. And then if he takes, boy, this is a tough one, because this is a really odd move. I haven't had okay, you played there. Okay, then he plays here. Gotcha. Okay. Okay, then that's right. Okay, then c5. Yeah, because there's a line you have to go down. There's a way of taking advantage of this type of bishop on d3. You have to draw it away and then challenge. Because if he takes here, you then take, king takes, and then bishop, and you're attacking this. And so if he plays here, you could actually just take and then have him a weak pawn structure, and then knight e7, knight develops, castles, and you can then maybe get some counterplay with a6 into c5, because that's just a very odd move. I'm really not seeing players do that. They usually play e5. That's the most standard line. If they play odd, then you just play tactical. Okay, so h6, not bad. Castles, bishop takes. Okay, bishop takes. You have to play really like you have to make sure. See, White's whole idea in the French is to dominate the dominate the center and lock this bishop out. That's why back here, I just want to show you. That's why instead of the bishop move, this right here locks this pawn chain. So if this bishop ever tries trading off, black's stuck with an ugly piece. Okay, we'll get to the part where where he takes. Okay, rook e1. I don't know. Let's see here. What could we play here? He's going to try to castle. So rook e1 isn't a bad idea now that I think about it. I was trying to see if there's any way we can get our bishop, involved with a pin like that. A bishop to a3, and if he castles, now the knight's pinned, and then he takes, and then rook to e, and maybe you're okay. Maybe blacks will. I like white here. I prefer white, because then you have bishop. You have both your bishops that are like really doing some big time damage. I prefer white in that setup. Castles. Interesting. That's not a bad move. Trying to get rid of your weakness. Let's see if he takes here. Let's say he takes there. Queen takes. Pawn takes. Takes. And I don't know. I kind of. And then if he plays there, he might try rerouting. Then you have d5. Yeah, kind of. The structure's kind of not so good. So black does have a good structure there. Takes. Nice. This was actually, I liked this move here. I like that move. Let's see here. Trying to see, do we have anything like potentially maybe rook to g4 with a pin there? You gotta always think of when you have an active rook like that, that's a really nice rook. If he tries that, you can just retreat your rook back. And you're still hammering that pawn, you're attacking it. And now you have a sweet little outpost as well. And then a queen coming in, so yeah, you're totally dominating there. And the knight's gonna have to retreat back. I'm kind of liking queen d2 with a threat there. So that if he's going to have to play rook there, then if knight now has a sweet outpost with an attack there. He can't take here because then the rook would have to move, and then kerplunk. There falls a pawn, and this pawn's weak, that pawn's weak. All we have to do now is get our bishop involved and we're good to go. So just always look for, before you retreat back, just look on the board for the most aggressive moves. This is not a bad move because you are retreating, but just try to look for aggressive moves that put your opponent at, feeling awkward a little bit. And that's why I was looking at g4, rook g4, because then he would have to react to our pin on the king. So c3, not bad. You're still good. Everything's good so far. Okay. Still fine. But now there's no pin on the knight, so this knight's free to roam the board. I don't like that. Somehow, maybe we should play. Let's see what if he plays chi. Okay. Let's see here. Trying to figure out if there's any way we can. This is kind of a block of a pawns here. Let's see. That's actually what I was thinking. So that is a good move. I like that move. Takes. Nice. Ooh, yeah. Okay, nice. That was a good fork. Bugs. Ugh. No, no CMs are a pain in the drain. Yeah, he does. He has queen check, king moves over, check, up, check. Let's see what his is winning there. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't play that. He missed out on a pretty sizable advantage there. Yeah, yeah, that's yeah, mate. What instead of moving, I know this sounds really odd. You actually kind of want to step over to the side. I believe that's what the computer would want. Yeah, you step off to the side, and then if he tries this, you bring your rook there, and now you're attacking the queen. And then you can start bringing your pieces back to the fight, because you free a spot for your king to f1. Not a bad game. No, it was really good. You did really, really, really good. So, and so we learned that if he plays something like this, the Winnier, you can the computer likes taking, but this is kind of the main line of the Winnier. You're welcome. Hey, you know what? Keep up the good work. You know what? Remember, it's only a loss if you don't learn from it. It's so that you know what? That's how you get better is by Jeremy Silman says to get better. It's weird. You have to learn a lot. Oh, it was awful. Well, I guess it's all in the view of the player. I mean, the analyzer, because every move has its chess. Like some artists actually gave up doing art because chess is like a canvas of ideas, and so even if the ideas are not, like what grandmasters say, the best move, they do have ideas behind them. And that's what my teacher told me, that he always asked me, even when I kind of did some not so quality of moves, he says, what were you thinking? And then I told him, and he says, so that's what you were thinking. Why were you thinking that way? And I told him why I was thinking that way, and he says, did you think of this way? Yeah, and I said no, and then we went over the game, and he was very kind, and so that's how I improved, was through kindness. There's kindness, and sometimes some people are just so mean that they ruin a person who's just beginning in chess, and that's just I just don't like when that happens. There's always rooms for improvement. Even grandmasters make mistakes. They're human. So great job. And if you have any more games you would like to go over, I'm more than happy to go over them, and we'll talk about them. And so we'll get back into our puzzles. But great job. Let's see. Okay. Let's go with our rook idea. Okay, so he moved his bishop back. So I think if we check here, we actually win. We win a rook. We do lose this pawn, though. Is it worth losing a pawn? Well, we get a rook, so we can always, after we take here, he goes there. We can always take and then come back and win this pawn. Yeah, let's go for the discovery. So, yeah, there we go. And then if he takes, you always can just you can bring the rook back if you'd like. And then when he moves, you can slide over and grab that. And if he takes, then you can attack this pawn. And if he plays there, you just grab another pawn and you start disintegrating the pawns. And even if you trade a bishop for a pawn, you can win in a rook endgame. So, a rook and king endgame is winning. Two bishops and a king winning as well. The two knights are drawn, and of course insufficient material would be a bishop alone, a knight alone. But there is a win with a knight and bishop, so but it's a little difficult to do. But Ray Robinson actually, in the most recent chess championship, U.S. Chess Championship, he played against Varakobian, and he won in that. Yeah, true. That is true. It's that's the whole thing. Is one thing I noticed is that a lot of streamers play games and stuff, and you have to, I guess involve involve the group, and that's why I want you guys, if you have any games you'd like to go over, we'll go over those. As it's all about learning. It's about, and my dad told me this. There's no I in team. So. So let's see here. Oh, this is interesting. So he must have taken a knight. Okay. Let's see. What did our opponent leave behind? Knight f5. Yeah, that does seem very appealing for sure. And there's no real way except for queen. So if we played knight here, that's threatening a fork. I mean, threatening an attack and mate, because our rook guard's here, and all we need to do is check the king, and we got him. We got him. I believe I believe you're right, economy. I think that is 100% right. Because I guess the only way that he can block, he loses queen if you try it. Well, I guess you'd have to retreat back. So if we played here, he'd have to retreat back. But then we still take and we win. Yeah. No. We did it together as a group, as a team. We're a team. Yeah, Anon, he says that he likes knights. Sometimes he says he'd even trade a rook off for a knight. He really likes playing with the knights. And let me see here. I really don't see any downside with knight to d5. So I'm gonna go knight. I'm gonna go knight d5. I like that move. Well, I still am gonna take here because we're gonna win the queen. She has to take. Whatever you do, don't take here. There's no rush. Don't rush. Just come back and snap that off, and you win. Because he has to take. This is mate. If there was no piece to take the knight, it would be checkmate because of the rook cuts off these squares of the king, and then the knight finishes off with the final check. Great find there, Economy. Good job, guys. Let's see here. Okie dokie. Yeah, one thing I learned about puzzles is look at everything on the board, and every move has a drawback. Like every move gives up something. So if you can kind of find the something that move gave up, like maybe a square, diagonal, maybe it blocked something, like a piece can't get away now, you can take advantage of that. Let's see. Boy, I'm trying to see if I can't make the Greek gift actually work. This move here. I want to see if we can't make that work. But I don't think it will. But I'm trying to see if we can't make bishop takes h7 work here. Oh man, I so badly want to, get this pawn out of the way and get rid of this knight, because then I can have a bishop pin. If this pawn was up here, and this knight was gone, we can play bishop b3. Ooh, interesting. So you see the drawback to that? Bishop to e4, and that wins a piece. Wow. Good eye there, Economy. That was great. Oh, snap. My bad there. Drat, I missed. That was my fault there. That doesn't win, that's not good. This is best of discovery. And then, should have looked at all takes. That was my fault there. Good find. That actually was a stellar find there. Let's see here. Okay, I'm trying to see. This is like hanging. There's nothing protecting this bishop, so you can make an idea about hanging pieces too. Yeah. Yeah, I went for the rook. I didn't check the queen. I was like, that's Yeah, that wasn't very fun for sure. Let's see here. Let's see. I have to also slow down, and I have to slow down because these puzzles are really they're tough. So they're not like one or two moves. They're like three or four moves. So you have to kind of see. You have to visualize the pieces moving on the board. What about knight? I was thinking that knight d4. Yeah, that is an interesting move. Taking scope on c2. That does take. Yeah, so if we played knight to d5, let's see, where could the queen go to? If it goes there, that's a very bad move. So the queen retreats all the way back. So he takes. Gotta be careful. If we take here, he takes there. We can actually check. And then we can come back and grab that. Nice. Oh, wow. There's this nice little line. If you take there, bishop takes here, and then you play check. When he blocks here, you slide back and grab. Oh, you actually grab that. Okay, yeah, our line's right. There we go. And then you castle, and then you bring your other piece back, and you're good to go. Everything's you're up a whole piece now. Nice find on that, guys. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Trying to excuse me, see if knight d5 isn't a plausible move. And then if he tries, I guess he does have bishop there, doesn't he? No, we can then just come back and snap that. And then, okay, So if we come here, if we go there, he comes here, we take, he takes, we play a3, and we win a piece in that line. So what do you guys think? Knight d5? Good. Okay. What do you guys think? Because there's knight d5, and then there's like a line you could do, like knight d5, and if bishop b4, oops, knight takes b4, knight takes b4, and then a3, and you pick up a piece with that line. That's kind of the line that I was looking at. I wonder if what do you guys think? What if queen a4 instead of b? Queen a4 instead of b? Well, then you actually pick off. If you played knight to, I'll put the line in for you guys. Knight d5, queen a4. Then you play knight takes c7 check, and it's a fork of the king and rook. See, it's you play here. He plays here. You take there. If the king moves, then you just grab the rook. You fork the king and rook. That's why it's so sweet. That's why it's a sweet move. You have to see, these are plans that you have to make up. You have to have a plan in a game and stick with it. Yeah, let's go. Let's give it a shot. And there we go. We get a piece. Oh, wait a second. I was gonna show you that other line. Hold on, guys. We'll get to that puzzle. Not to worry. Okay. Now, if this happened, this actually is playable, and that's all I was talking about. Is then the king moves over like here, and then you just wait. You actually hold on. Oh, you attack the queen, huh? You play. Okay, you attack the queen there. Is the queen? I think the queen's almost trapped. Yeah, you just grab that then. Okay, gotta remember that. Sometimes you have to draw a piece away from a position, then grab the piece. That taught me something. Don't be so even if there's a fork, don't be so, grab a piece. Make sure it actually benefits you. You may have to attack another piece first, then grab the piece. Alrighty then, let's see here. So we have a pin here on the king. So how can we take advantage of that? There's bishop. Well, I guess if we play knight there, he'd take there. Well, I kind of like this move here, and then if he takes here, we can actually take there, and if he takes, we just play f6. And then we're checkmating our opponent. Well, he's going to have to move his rook. I'll have to move it. Oops, sorry. So here, 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 here. Rook moves. I think it's mate either way. I'm liking bishop to h6. What do you guys think? Bishop h6. There's also potential maybe we have queen h5 is an idea. Trying to see what's most forcing, because queen h5, and then if knight takes, or if knight takes here, we checkmate there. So queen h5, h6, bishop takes h6, pawn takes h6, and then queen takes, and we're threatening mate. And then we can actually just come over and snap the bishop off and threaten mate on h8. Oh boy, this is a tough one. I guess he doesn't have to. If we play here and he plays, let's say we play there, he plays there, and we take, he doesn't have to actually take back. He doesn't have to take. He could just leave his pawn there, leave his pawn here. I think the most forcing line is bishop h6. Oh, don't tell me. No. Huh, what am I missing here? What am I missing? Is it knight? No, it's not knight takes. Hold on, let me see. Oh, knight intercepts. Weird. That's different. What happens if you play here? Knight takes. Oh, he doesn't have. Okay, then he takes here. Oh, because he's got. Okay. So if you play your knight there, that's peculiar for sure. Huh. I think we could pick a rook off here. I'm just trying to figure out which way. Nah, we're just studying some puzzles right now. I appreciate the offer for a match, though. Snap, I'm trying to figure out how to actually win. I was looking at this here. I was looking at that. Oops. Excuse me. Then he has rook g6. And then if we take there, he moves up here. Trying to see if we take rook takes check, king here. Yeah, it is important for that to happen. So don't worry. Let's see here. There's like that type of move idea, but we don't win anything in that. So like if we play here, he comes up there. And then let's say we check here. He takes, we take. Takes, he wins in that line. I don't really like that line. I don't like that line. I don't like it. Not at all. Not one bit. Yeah, I was thinking. I like that move. One second. Excuse me. Just 1 second. I'm gonna get a drink. Oops. There we go. Hold on. Okay, perfect. That like moved my mouthpiece thing around. I want to make sure I had it right. Okay, let's head back. So rook to. I do see your idea here. This does make sense, because then now you're gonna pick that off, and the rook's far enough away from the king, because we can't trade off rooks. He has a majority. If we trade off, we lose. I have a question though. We played rook takes. We played rook takes h2, and then king g5. What if we played rook f2? Oh, I get ya. Okay. Okay, that makes more practical sense now. And then if he comes up here and checks, I intercept with the rook. Because this was Economy's idea here. If let's just say that he moved up here, right? First you check here, and if he tries to move here, you pick off a piece. And let's just say he moves, let's say bad move. This is kind of the idea of a checkmate that was going on. Another double rook endgame. Very, very interesting. Trying to see if we can't maybe play rook or pulls there and then somehow get our rooks doubled. Trying to see if we can't double our rooks. Like if we, I was thinking like h5 check, king takes h5, and rook f4 check, and then a rook f4 check, and then doubling up. I was thinking of something like that. I'm trying to see, maybe we double up rooks, maybe after takes we go there. So I might have that slightly wrong. Let's see, h5 check after and then king takes h5. So oops, not h5, king takes h5. And I'm not sure if we if we move to rook to g2 or rook f4. Kind of not sure about that. Because g2 cuts the king off permanently. Yeah. Don't tell me. What? What are we missing? What did we miss? What did we what am I missing here? Let me see. So that's not the best. Okay. It doesn't like that. Let's see what the best move is. You're kidding me. What the heck? That's crazy. I wanna understand why that's not the best. What? So he moves down. Huh. I don't think I would have seen that. And so that's a bad move now too, okay. So that's a draw. Back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. That's pretty peculiar. I think if we take the bishop, we get perpetual. But if we don't take the bishop, it's like we're... Let's see. So king takes g... g4. King takes g4, rook g3 check. I guess we can just go back then to f5 and attack the rook again. Well, if we go king g4, huh. Let's go for it. That loses to checkmate because then he could play there. And then we come up and there's mate. So we have to come back to f2, king f3 or f5. Because if we play here, check, we have to go up and then we get mated. So there's really only two moves we could play. Trying to see, king f5 makes the most sense because you're attacking the rook, then when he takes the pawn. Yeah. I think I could do just this one. I'm not sure. I might be able to do one more, but it depends on when we finish. I know I can do this one. I kind of remember this one here. This is like the Greek gift, so. So if we play king takes h7, knight g5, check. You're fine. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, that leads to check. So we have to go up the board. Because if we go back, he comes in and it's game over at that point. Is it king to g6? Is it king g6? What do you guys think? King g6 or king g8? I'm not sure about king g8. I'm just concerned if we go king g8, he's got queen h5. And do we have enough to hold? Well, I think if we go king, let me see, king g8, queen h5, rook e8, queen h7, check, king, or yeah, king f8, queen h8, check, and then knight g8. I think that's the line. I think we might be safe. No, because there is another line if king g8. Now that I think about it, king g8, or sorry, king g8, queen h5, rook f7, queen takes f7 check, king h8, queen h5 check, then king, I think it's g8, and yeah, something like that. It's something similar to that. Because I think if we move up here, he gets... But then we could play there. No, then he gets a fork there. Okay, wow. So I think if we move here, he can actually play there. Or we take the knight. Do you guys have any questions about this before I log off? You know what? It's okay. I had no idea. I didn't even consider h6. I have to remember to do that. Consider h6 next time. So, do you guys have any questions before I log off? Well, I'll show you what happens if first you go here. And I oh. Okay, that's why it's a bad move. Now we know why. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions? I'll give you guys a minute to see if you have any questions. So I gotta turn off the engine. Sometimes it gets a little confusing with all those. I'm waiting to see if you guys have any questions. Okay. I will take that as a no. Well, guys, you know what? Sometimes diamonds, sometimes stone. Yeah, you take the good and the bad, and you learn from them. You're not always going to be get 100%. It's what you do though during those hard times. Do you learn? Do you put in the thing? Do you put in the moves and find out what went wrong so that you can improve? That's how you learn. And the ratings will come. That's what my teacher told me. It's not about the rating because it will come with your improvement. And I know I told you guys last time this about there was a task that somebody thought couldn't be done, and then somebody came in, hung up their coat, hung up their hat, rolled up their sleeves, and sat down. And the thing that couldn't be done, they did. So you know what? We can do that too, guys. Remember, we knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do. So you know what? We can will to do something, but if you don't put the time in and do it, you won't reap the rewards that the Lord has for you, those victories and learning. So just keep that in mind. Hannibal Smith said, "There's always a plan, the position. Know what your opponent's going to do. Make them then predict it and make them do what you want to do on the board." And I'll leave you with this. As Wesley So says, serve the Lord Jesus. And as I say, God bless. And I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, evening. And I'll be back on Lord willing. I'll check one more time to see if you guys have any questions. And if not, then I will say, okay, perfect. Then I will say adieu. Be blessed, guys. I'll be back on tomorrow. Keep studying chess. Go team. Bye-bye.